It just occurred to me that the left in this country is really a bottom-up movement, if there's any movement at all, and the right is really, top-down movement. And what I mean by this is, when you look at things that the left talks about and are concerned about, it's from the bottom up, right? It's regular Americans struggling to pay their, rent, mortgage, groceries, healthcare, those types of things, right? Things that people, regular Americans, at the bottom, really struggle with, right? These are things that they're actually struggling with in their lives, and they advocate for, trying to make those things better. I have a lot of problems with the strategies that they want to utilize, but I can understand the sentiment. However, it seems like everything the right wing is focused on is stuff that comes from the top down, right? You have millionaire and billionaire elites that are injecting, culture wars and different things. And it's like, I haven't heard much stuff coming from conservatives that didn't come from the top down. For example, trans swimmers. Next to no conservatives have had any issues with any trans swimmers. They've never seen a trans person. They've never experienced anything with a trans swimmer, but look how much time they spend talking about it. And where did that narrative come from? Elites, right? The GOP, millionaire influencers, right? Talking about stuff like, even right now, right? It's like, and they just jump on anything, any red meat. Now it's fraud and waste, supposedly, right? Which conservative was walking around, bumping into fraud and waste? Right, they get up in the morning like, oh, this damn fraud and waste, oh my goodness, so much fraud and waste, why does Social Security keep sending me this money that I'm not supposed to get, or whatever it is, right? It's not something they're experiencing in their lives, right? Millionaire elites at the top inject these ideas, and then, the right-wing influencer class, they just take it up and they jump on it, and then they, like right now, Tim Pool jumping on everything, oh, SAD had this thing and that thing and whatever thing, and it just spreads, and then every day they get bombarded, fraud and waste, so that's what they're going to talk about. And bureaucracy now is the new emerging buzzword. Ooh, bureaucracy this, bureaucracy that, right? But the things that actually are affecting their lives, their day-to-day lives, not really talking about it. There's no movement about healthcare or, let's deal with this housing prices or, things that are actually affecting the lives of regular Americans. I mean, Elon Musk literally interrupted Donald Trump multiple times in the last press conference. He brought his kid in there, like just so disrespectful, right? Imagine Kamala Harris doing the same thing, or imagine Joe Biden the same thing. Imagine the scandal on Fox News, right? When have we ever seen a president of the United States having some dude in his office standing over him with his kid over his shoulder and interrupting the president of the United States, right? That's where we're at. And then you look at the entire all of the Republican members of Congress, all voting in lockstep. It's just like one big monolith. So you have a message coming from the GOP, coming from Donald Trump, echoed by Fox News and almost the entire right-wing media, all the same message, all on the same accord. And then you have the people just, feedback loop, right? You don't have this tension like you have on the left where, the people on the ground are saying, listen to us, you stupid Democrats, blah, blah, we don't care about that, we care about this thing, you know what I mean? No, that's not the right approach, like there's this tension and this fighting so much that the Democrats are afraid of their own base, all right? But on the right, it's top down. So whatever the elites want people to focus on, that's what they're focusing on. Unfortunately, Democrats don't have that kind of power. Democrats would love to have that power, but they don't. The people are like, no, this is what we want. They're trying to pull them like, listen, no, we want this, right? You don't see that on the right. Another example is grocery prices. Now, there is something where you would say, okay, look, that's something that affects regular Americans. But who was pushing that rhetoric? It was coming from the elites, right? The GOP and its allies wanted the public to focus on how expensive things were, drive them to the polls to vote for Donald Trump, who's going to fix things, right? So they wanted them to focus on grocery prices. So the right wasn't pushing a focus on grocery prices. The elites were pushing for it, and then the right went along with it. Now that Trump's in office, the right doesn't, the elites at the top don't want them to focus on the prices because prices are still going up, right? So now they move on to fraud and waste and bureaucracy. And rather than the right sticking with, hey, grocery prices, they go right along, right? Whenever red meat is dangled, now it's bureaucracy, fraud and waste, right? Egg prices. Meanwhile, people are literally stealing eggs. That's the thing now. People are stealing eggs because the prices are so high, right? This is real issues that are actually affecting conservatives. But because the elites at the top want them to focus on bureaucracy and fraud and waste, they're moving right along as they always do. No daylight between the billionaire and millionaire elites that are basically sheep herding the entire conservative movement in this country. And it's just sad to see.